No pain, no gain. You've probably heard about this, but in relation to chronic fatigue syndrome, it's terrible advice. I once worked with a girl called Annabelle, and Annabelle came to see me because she was struggling with chronic fatigue syndrome. She was a high achiever. She was a perfectionist. She was very, very smart academically and very physically active, but she couldn't do any of that. And she was lacking a lot of consistency with her recovery. So like she'd feel good for a little bit and then she'd feel horrible for a long time. And there was this cycle that she was going through. So I sat her down, we created a baseline, we created a routine, we set out a recovery plan. And then she wanted to do some form of movement. And I said, we can do a little bit, but we have to make sure that it's the right amount for you. So we sit down on the gym floor and I give her 3 minutes of restorative movement. And this is like energy in movement that actually doesn't deplete or exhaust the body. After 3 minutes of watching her carefully, making sure that it was the right amount for her and it was appropriate for her baseline, I stopped her. And I said, all right, that's enough today, Annabelle. And let's go back into the office. And she looked at me and she's like, we're done? And I said, yeah, we're done. And she goes, and she looked at me. She was laying on the floor. She looked at me and she goes, but I'm not even exhausted yet. I'm not even in pain. I'm not even in pain. And I stood there and I said, that's the point, Annabelle. You're not supposed to be. And so the lesson here, and it was funny, she laughed and I said, this is the reason why you are paying me, is to stop you from going into pain and exhaustion. I'm going to teach you a different approach that's going to build energy into your system that then you can exert later and feel good doing it. And what was wild was within 6 weeks, she was moving a lot more, doing, from 3 minutes to 15 minutes. Within 6 months, she was jogging again, playing tennis. Within a year, she was on a surf trip over in Indonesia with her father and her sister. Now she's fully recovered. She's studying law. She travels the world. She has like a cooking kind of show on Instagram. And it's just super cool. But the main teaching that I want to share with you with Annabelle's story is that it's not about no pain, no gain. It's not about pushing yourself to complete exhaustion. It's not about, pushing yourself all the time. It's about doing the right amount at the right time based off where you're at to get the appropriate result and the adaptation from your brain and body so you can then progress to the next level. That's exactly what we do with Annabelle. That's exactly what we've done with thousands of clients in 78 countries, is we're just teaching them in a nuanced way to do the right amount for where they're at, and then we rebuild their cognitive and physical capacity in the areas of their goals and dreams so they get to where they want to be and can, ultimately get healthy and start living again. So shout out to you, Annabelle. Your story is incredible, and I'll never forget that moment when I said to you, yeah, that's the point. Stop pushing yourself to exhaustion and pain, and maybe you will start to get better. And that's exactly what happened.